everyone. So today I'm going to be going over some stretches that I like to do before going into a squat session. I'm wanting to make sure that I have loose ankles. I'm wanting to make sure that my knees are also warm and also my hips. And then I also want to make sure that my lower back has also got a little bit of mobility in it, and then I'm feeling warm throughout the whole process, so that when it comes to actually warming up and starting to move under some load, I'm going to feel much stronger, I'm going to feel much more stable, and I'm also going to feel more mobilized and feel stronger in that bottom position under that load. So to start off with, we're going to start with and most of you guys have actually probably heard that I do RunWOD on a daily basis. So this is what they call a low dragon. What this is doing is it's focusing on your calf muscles, but also your ankle mobility. And what you're wanting to do is trying to keep the heel on the ground and pushing this knee over your toes. You can do this the way I'm doing it, or you can also use a kettlebell. You can use some weight. It really depends on if you want to feel the stretch a little bit more, or if you're finding it really hard to get into this position. For me, this is very much enough. You also don't want to overdo the stretch. And I'm also feeling it in my hip flexors as well, on the leg that is actually straight behind me. So hold this. You can hold these stretches, there's no rule of thumb, but I like to hold them for around about 2 minutes. I think that is allowing me to really breathe deep into the stretch, and it's also allowing my muscles to actually feel the stretch and actually get the benefit out of it. And also, we have very busy schedules, and so I know the realistic timeline that you can spend on mobilizing, even if it's for 1 minute and you have certain stretches that you can do, it's super important, and you should try and make that time for yourself throughout the day. Once you do that, I always make sure that I do both sides as well, again for the same amount of time. So depending on how much time you have, you can obviously change that suited to you. But I like to be around the 2 minute mark. And I also like to really focus on my body. So what I notice compared from my right and my left is a little tighter than my right. So it actually may require a little bit more attention. And that's just something that I've personally noticed and picked up over the time of me mobilizing, listening to the body, and also taking note of what's going on with my body as well. It's super important to be in tune with it all. I like to do either, you can do the full straddle, which is actually both knees bent, leaning back. Okay, so this is actually working the quads, which if your quads are getting really, really tight, can affect your knee joints. So you can do the full saddle, or you can do the half saddle, which is a little less intense. Same kind of situation, one knee is bent, the other one is extended, and then you can lean back as far as you go. Once you've done that, I like to do 2 minutes on that side, then 2 minutes on this side. And again, there's no rule of thumb. If you feel like your right side needs a little bit longer, that's okay, but make sure that you do a minimum of the same amount roughly on both sides. Don't just skip a side, because you want to make sure that you're even on both sides. Once we've done that, then we can come into what they on RunWOD call a lizard, and you're stretching out your hip flexors, okay? You're also coming in and stretching out your hamstrings as well. And you can also go as deep or as shallow as you want, so you could bring your elbows down and really stretch and feel that pull sensation through your hip flexor or through your hamstring. And you can also push your knee out as well, getting that movement through those hips, making sure you do it on both sides. Can't reiterate that enough. Okay, and you could come down Sometimes I've noticed people can't actually go down onto their elbows on one side. That's okay. It's just something that you can work towards, and it also just expresses the importance of you mobilizing on, you know, on like with your body and everything. And then one of my favorite stretches, you would have heard me say this a number of times in other mobility videos, but this one I feel is really, really good for the lower back and also for your inner thighs. So you're going to spread your legs out as far as possible and fall forward as low as you can. If you can't fall forward onto your elbows, maybe get a roller or even a medicine ball and lay on it. You're wanting to relax in these positions. You don't want to force anything because that's when sometimes injury can occur. So making sure that you're really relaxing and focusing on your breathing throughout these stretches is super important and critical for your health. And it's also your body is going to respond much better as well. So once you've done that, what I like about this stretch is you're going to feel it through your inner thighs, which is great. You also will probably feel this, if you haven't done this stretch before, around the knee area as well. But this also comes and helps your lower back. So if you find that you're someone that's constantly getting lower back pain, this is a really great stretch to help reduce that. And it's also a really great one that I like to do before my squat session. So just to summarize, I've done an ankle stretch, I've done a quad stretch which helps the knees, I've also done a hip flexor stretch and also a inner groin stretch which also helps the lower back. There is a handful of stretches that you can apply before your squat session that I like to do, and I also find are really, really great for my mobility. And I think that it also helps with longevity of your training, no matter what level you are. I really do think it's super important to make sure that you do dedicate a little bit of time every day to mobilizing, whether it's in your upper body, lower body, or midsection. You can rotate that every single day and you'll be able to move a lot more freely and without any pain and stiffness. And it's also just going to allow you to live a much fulfilling life. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, please comment below, and also don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.